Cooper stood idly behind the counter of the convenience store. It was 9:53 p.m., just 7 minutes left of this shift, and he could lock the doors and go home. He'd been closing the store by himself for the past 2 months, and he had to admit that it felt pretty good to be here alone, collecting his thoughts, even sneaking in some reading time when it was slow. And it usually was slow. It was a small town, and at night, he rarely had any customers. This gave him time to clean and organize everything for the next day. The night shift was a piece of cake. Cooper looked out at the store floor, at the freshly mopped tile, at the perfectly organized cooler. He stared at the clock. Who would care if he closed a couple of minutes early? His thoughts were soon interrupted by the familiar jangle of bells to his right, signifying a customer walking in. Cooper looked down at the digital time clock. 9:57. Cooper didn't recognize the man that had shuffled in. He wore a dirty olive-colored trench coat, and his long, stringy hair was topped with a greasy old trucker hat. "We're closing in just a couple of minutes," Cooper called out politely. The man either didn't hear him or pretended not to notice. Cooper watched him walk slowly to the very back of the store. He had brought something in with him that looked to Cooper like a liquor bottle in a brown paper bag. He sighed. Obviously, he couldn't allow the man to be walking around in here with that. He glanced at the time again. 9:59. Cooper glanced towards the back of the store, but couldn't see the man. He couldn't hear anything either. It was 10 o'clock now, and he'd have to lock the door before anyone else could wander in here. Cooper felt around in his pocket for the store keys, and strode quickly to the door, locking them in place. When he turned around, he came face to face with the man. Cooper let out a quick gasp of surprise, but the man showed no reaction to Cooper's show of surprise. "We're closed now, sir," he managed to blurt out. "Would you like to buy anything?" The man smiled, showing yellow and rotten teeth. "Not buying, kiddo. Selling," the man said. Cooper didn't know what to say to this response. "Excuse me?" The man grinned wider, but the bag covered a liquor bottle on the counter. "I make and sell novelties. You interested, kid?" The man smiled in a way that made Cooper uncomfortable. "I'd have to talk to my boss," Cooper said rather awkwardly. The man beamed. "Is he here? Let me speak with him." Cooper gulped. "No, he's gone for the night. Just me here." He forced a smile. The man looked at him with raised eyebrows. "You're alone?" Cooper immediately wished he had lied about being here alone. The man smiled again, showing his years of dental neglect. "Well, don't you want to at least see what I got to offer?" Cooper cringed. "Yeah, sure, but I really need to close down the store." He just wanted the man to leave, wanted to go back in time and close the store 5 minutes early, and never meet this strange man. The man picked up the bag containing the bottle and slowly removed the bag from it, grinning wildly while he did this. It was a glass liquor bottle, the label stripped away, and inside was an entire human hand, floating in a clear liquid. Cooper stared in disbelief. It couldn't be an actual hand. It was some sort of gag, it had to be. He shivered and hoped that the man didn't notice. The man stared at Cooper expectantly, waiting for his reaction. Cooper noticed this and tried to be polite. "That's quite a gag," he said, trying to smile, but finding it difficult to do so. The man frowned, looking at his creation on the counter. "Ain't no gag, son. Art. Beautiful piece of art." Cooper felt sick. This didn't feel real to him. He should be on his way home now. Not talking to a strange man past closing time. He had to be polite, he decided, unsure of how stable this man was. "How do you get the hand in there?" he said, trying to be humorous. The man stared at him coldly. I can tell you it's no easy task, boy. Even harder to find worthy hands for my art. He had to mean mannequins. Or those fake bloody hands they sell close to Halloween time. He felt cold sweat on his hands, a chill on the back of his neck. He tried to appear confident. He didn't want to show fear. If you come back tomorrow morning, my boss will be around. I can leave you his name and number if you'd like. The man grinned at Cooper again. I got plenty more in the truck out there. Cooper squinted to see outside in the dark. A rusted lime green truck was parked near the entrance to the store. He didn't recall seeing it pull in. The bed of the truck was covered by a large blue tarp, and Cooper could see bulging shapes underneath it. Cooper imagined stacks of dead bodies under the tarp, all of them missing a hand, maybe a foot. He cringed at the thought. This man was strange, and Cooper was running out of things to say to him. And that hand in the bottle, it couldn't be real, could it? He had to get out of here. Had to get away from this man. He straightened up and tried to make his face appear stern. I really need to get going. My parents are expecting me home soon, and I hate to worry them. I'll talk to my boss in the morning, and I'll ask him about selling these, items. The man frowned. Very well, then. You're the boss. Cooper nervously unlocked the door so he and the man could step outside. They walked out of the store into the cool night air. Cooper had forgotten to turn out the lights in the store, but he didn't care. Feeling the strange man's eyes on him, he fumbled around for his store keys and finally slipped into the doors, locking them. He politely said a goodbye to the man and headed for his car in the parking lot. He didn't look back and prayed that he wouldn't hear footsteps behind him. Shaking with anxiety, he reached the car door. Out of the corner of his eye, he noticed something strange. All of his tires appeared to be flat. And then the footsteps came. Dan pulled into the parking lot at 6 a.m. and immediately noticed that the lights had been left on all night and Cooper's car was still in the parking lot. His first thought was that a burglary had occurred, and Cooper might still be in the store, possibly hurt. He rushed to the door and was surprised to find that it was locked. What was going on here? He felt inside his jacket pocket for his keys and unlocked the door. He was about to head for the work phone behind the counter when something caught his attention. A bottle sat on the counter, containing something floating in a murky liquid. As he picked it up, it became clear to him what was in the bottle. It was a hand, the severed hand of a young man. As he examined it closer, trying to decide if it was real or some sort of gag, a strange man watched from outside, and he waited patiently for the store to open so he could speak personally to the store manager.